Hi, I'm Bill Mooney, the chair of the new department for film, relatively new, film, media, and performing arts. Our table was actually, we didn't have anybody from B&T at our table. We had a couple people from art and design and a couple people from liberal arts. And it just occurred to me that actually liberal arts has a lot less experience with the whole issue of alumni than the long-established majors who've been sort of dealing with this for years. Um, but for us, as a new major, with students who've only finished one semester, of course, it's very, very interesting to start thinking about it. So um, the main question that we ended up, well, at least this is the way I saw it. The conversation actually wandered through all three of these questions, but the one that I think we sort of helped focus what we were talking about for me was the first question. In what ways could these programs be integrated with efforts already underway in your program or adopted by your program to further alumni engagement with FIT? Um, the idea of efforts already underway seemed to relate primarily to things that were actually in what we were saying were related primarily to things that were coming out of individual departments and how they would be integrated into the college's developing efforts was something that brought up a lot of conversation in our group. The first answer immediately came from Terry Blum, and she said data. Somehow the idea of a database and better tracking of alumni and a coordinated tracking between the department systems and the college-wide system, which I think I've heard this before in other meetings, but that seemed to be something that people felt was urgently needed. Then the other side of the same thing was, I mean, the question was how to that came up in the discussion was how to coordinate efforts that are underway with what's going on college-wide. Well, Terry mentioned, for example, a party she had in a downtown loft where they had a lot of alumni together, and it was very fruitful and very valuable, but it was entirely independent from everything else on campus, every other department, and the college-wide issues, including funding and everything else. But that sort of raised the question of, and we didn't have an answer. We just saw the problem that departments have these ongoing efforts. How could they be conceivably coordinated better with with school initiatives and with college-wide initiatives, because to some extent they all pose different issues. One thing that Rebecca particularly was speaking to that she thought was very valuable was the idea of the Faculty on the Road initiative, and we could, as we talked about it, we could see how that could be quite effective to have groups of alumni in various places around the country and take a faculty member with his particular expertise who would do a kind of a presentation and engage with those faculty. It just seemed like a very good idea. But a kind of complementary idea that came up was the idea of how can we better bring alumni who have a particular expertise and industry experience back to department meetings, back to current students, and get them involved with current students and bring what they have to current students, which was seen as extremely valuable. I think I'll just stop there.